Some actors don't chase the spotlight. They let their work speak for itself. Ashwin Mushran has been doing exactly that for nearly 2 decades. From memorable performances in Lage Raho Munna Bhai, Life in a Metro, Fashion, Sanju, Rana Naidu, and Vijay 69, to becoming one of India's most respected theatre artists and voice actors, his journey has been built on craft, consistency, and versatility. He has also lent his voice to countless international productions and iconic characters, making him a familiar voice even when audiences don't see his face. Today, we dive into a journey built not on fame, but on passion, perseverance, and a lifelong dedication to the art of storytelling.
Welcome to Confessions, Ashwin. To begin with, what's your story?
What's my story? Not many people have asked me that actually, so it's nice to hear. I always like to say I was born at a very young age. If people get that joke, then it's great. If they don't, I'll just move on. It's something that I use every once in a while. Where do I begin? My father's Indian, my mother's half English, half German, hence the confusion with my color, and people get that all the time. My dad's Kashmiri Pandit, and my mother's half English, half German, like I said. I grew up in a bunch of different places. My dad worked for a company, so we moved around a lot. I grew up in colonies. Spent time in Bihar. I first went to school in Thane, actually, which is a Thane boy. I went to the JK school out there. My dad was working for a company called ICI, and it was on the Thane Belapur belt. At the time, Vashi didn't even exist. And I went to school in Thane, and then I got into boarding school. And at that time, my parents moved to Bihar as well. So my entire time, I was in boarding school. I was in the Doon school in Dehradun. Was staying in Bihar for that entire time. I'm sure you can tell from my Bihari accent that it's very evident. And after that, I got into college in Delhi. So that's Delhi University. I went to Hindu College from 1990 to 93. Yes, last century for some of you, if you would believe that. I finished college in Delhi. I was doing English honors in Delhi University. Had a great time out there. And I almost got into Jamia Mass Media, the Mass Communications Institute in Jamia, where a lot of famous people have actually come from there. It's started off the media boom. A lot of people who went there went into, I would call, the foundations of what we see as media nowadays, from your CNBCs to your NDTV. I actually did a stint with TV18, now CNBC TV18, when it was a really, really new channel. I was a researcher for them. I'd left college. Raghav Bell had given me my first job and gave me my first paycheck of, I think it was 3,000 rupees, where he called me to the office and I had researched the show and he gave me a check. I said, "What's this for?" He said, "You've done the work, so here's a check." And I think at that time, 1993 or 4, around then, 3,000 rupees was quite a lot of money at that time. And I'd applied for Jamia. I didn't get in. I was thinking of going into copywriting. I was thinking of going into advertising. I was doing plays all the time because while I was at school at Doon, in Dehradun, I did plays there every year. In college, I did plays. I joined a group called Stage Door, who was run by this gentleman called Amir Raza Hussain, who actually taught me what I know about comedy, and timing actually comes from him. He was a really hard taskmaster, but we used to do plays and we used to also travel with them, and we used to put up one set one night, take it down, put up another set the other night. And I learned everything from him. I think it was bonded labor because he got all us college students to come in and be part of the theater group. There's Roshan Abbas was also part of the theatre group, who's still all these years later. He's a friend of mine, and I learned so much from him, and I still learn so much from him now. So I did a lot of theatre in Delhi. There was Ahmed Azhar Hussain, there was Lilette Dubé's Prime Time. I worked with Faisal Al-Qazi as well. So many different groups. Delhi was a really buzzing theatre scene. So I got a lot of training from actually just doing. I think many people in the entertainment industry in India, they learn by doing. It's only now that a bunch of different schools have come up and people are actually taking training. But at that time, in my head, I've always wanted to be an actor. And I applied to the drama studio in London. I'd applied to, I think, RADA, Lambda, some of the other schools as well. And the drama studio was one of the only ones who accepted me on my tape. So I thought that was good enough, because all the other schools were calling you in for an audition, and to fly to the UK, then do an audition, maybe not be accepted. That would have cost a lot of money. I said, okay, drama studios accepted me, but now I have to ask my parents, because there's no way you could afford that by yourself. And my parents were kind enough to say, yes, we will pay for it. They didn't necessarily say they approved, but they said, we'll help you out so you can go to drama school. My mother always used to say something, or she said something really interesting. She said, I'd rather you try this and fail than be a tired, depressed, annoying banker 10, 15 years later. At least you gave this a shot. And I always say that maybe I should have been a tired, depressed, annoying banker, because at least then I'd be rich. Another story. So I went to the drama studio in London, and that was 1994. And I also chose that school because it was the only school that had a 1-year program, and I didn't want to do 3 years, because I felt if you can't learn it in 1 year, 3 years is pointless. I didn't want to be in an acting school for 3 years. So I went for this 1-year intensive program at the Drama Studio London, which was a postgraduate course, because I'd already finished my English honors at Hindu College in Delhi University. And I stayed on in London for a few years, trying to make it, doing extra work, actually. I did a lot of extra work, and that paid really well. I was an extra in Phantom Menace in Star Wars. You can't see me because they generated all the people into thousands and thousands. But yeah, Citizen of Naboo sitting out here. But it was great fun doing extra work. And there were so many people who said, don't do extra work, because it's not going to help your career. And looking back at that now, I think why? Because instead of being a waiter, instead of being somebody working at a call center, cold calling, at least you're on a set. At least you're learning. You're on a set, you're around the environment which you want to be a part of, which you love, and you're watching other people do their work. There's so many famous actors who you think of their fame now, but so many of them, I'm talking about Hollywood, started off as background actors, as extras. You can go back to a bunch of movies and see all these people pop up in tiny, tiny things. And eventually they made it as well. So I think that's not good advice to give actors. People don't know you, they don't know you. But at least you're learning in the environment where you should be learning from, rather than struggling, trying to make ends meet at a job that you hate, or in a job that you hate. Plus, it was actually paid quite decently at that time. You made pretty decent money just being a background actor. So I stayed on for a while, and nothing much was happening, of course. In the meantime, I had also started salsa dancing, which became a really big part of my life. I've done salsa for 20, 25 years. Some my closest friends from around the world are because of salsa. And I had a great time in London. But then my sister said, look, come back to Bombay, come back to India. Stuff is happening out here. So just come back. And I did. And that was around 2003. I came back in 2003. And I think within the first 5 or 6 months, I think I got my first commercial. I did what everybody did. At that time, I know you're called famous, but there was Famous Studios in Mahalakshmi, and all of us used to go there. We used to have our portfolio books. I know people now will not believe that you actually walked around with a portfolio file to show to people. You would open it and say, these are my pictures. And you used to line up who's having auditions. You used to line up, wait for 3-4 hours just to get an audition. And at that same time as well, I shot my first commercial. I also started voice work. Accidentally fell into it because one of my directors, I'd done the Sansui commercial, and the director, his name was Rajesh Sathi from a company called Kerosene. And I will always thank him for putting me onto the path of being a voice artist or a voice actor, however you want to look at it. Because he just said, hey, I think you've got a really nice voice. Would you like to voice this part of the ad? I said, sure. And I had no idea microphone placement, what to do. It was so different when you hear yourself in the cans like that. You sound like a different person. But he stuck with me, and he liked me so much. He took me around everywhere and said, this is Ashwin Mushran. You should use him if you're looking for another voice. And that's how I fell into voice work. And through that as well, I was introduced to somebody called Leela Ghosh, who had a studio called Sound and Vision Studios. Right now, her daughter Mona is heading Sound and Vision Studios, one of the biggest dubbing studios in the country. They've probably done the biggest films and the biggest shows you can think of. And she took a liking to me. Why? I don't know. And stuck with me and taught me how to dub. Because dubbing is a completely different ball game where you're giving your voice to another actor. You don't have to look like that actor, but you're giving your voice to that actor. All it has to be is that your voice fits that actor. That's it. And she invested her time with me and put me onto the path of being a dubbing artist. So I had voiceover work for ads, for corporate films, and then I had dubbing as well. And of course, I worked with her daughter, Mona, lots since then as well, who I really admire and respect for what she's built and what she's done for the dubbing industry. So that all started at the same time. And slowly, one thing after another, I got offered my first film, which was called Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye, directed by Samad Khan. Okay, not the greatest film in the world, but we had such a fantastic time shooting it. It was in Malaysia. And that was my first film. That was 2-3 weeks in Malaysia. And it had, that was Arshad Wasi. There was Mahima Chaudhary. There was Jaspal Bhatti. There was Parveen Tabas. There was Sandhya Mridul. There was Sachin Khedekar. There was Iravati Harshe. Bunch of other actors as well. And we had such a fun time in Malaysia. The movie never really did well, but through that, I got recommended for another movie. I think that was called Kuriyo Ka Zamana by Sachin Khedekar was in it. So he recommended me for that. So I did that. Again, I don't think it was the best film, but I was building relationships with people or getting to know people at this time who then would recommend me for something else. So it wasn't just about the acting. It was also that people enjoyed working with you, people liked you, and they recommended you. Not everything came from a casting. Not everything came because somebody called you up. It was because somebody said, hey, this is Ashwin. Why don't you call him? He would be good for this. And in Kudiyo Ka Hai Zamana, Gaurav Kapoor, who now hosts sports shows, of course, he's also producing, investing, doing all of that. And that's something Gaurav Kapoor always wanted to do. But Gaurav Kapoor, I think, recommended me for the Great Indian Comedy Show, which was my first big TV project. And that was running on Star One. I think they were doing some really exciting things on Star One in those days. I think they had Khichdi, they had Sarabhai versus Sarabhai, they had the Great Indian Comedy Show. And the Great Indian Comedy Show was my learning ground for TV. It was my learning ground for this other part of the world, which not movies. And I'm truly, truly grateful for that, because that's where I met Suresh Menon, Ranveer Shori, Vinay Pathak, Gaurav Gera, Manni De, Suchitra Pillai. So many of these fine actors who I learned from, because that was a show we were doing Monday to Thursday. And we were shooting sketch comedy, we were shooting gags. And it was a live editing setup. So we would rehearse the gag, and then the gag would be the sketch would be shot, but they were editing everything on the editing table while you were doing it. And it was great fun. I think I did a good 1 year of that, 1.5 years of that. I can't remember right now. And again, there's no reason for any of these people to like me, because some of these actors can very hard with new people. I think they test them out to see how they are. They just took a liking to me, and we're really good friends, all of us, to this day. Kiku Sharda was also in it. Of course, to see where they've all reached now is fantastic. Most of it was directed by a director called Shashant Shah, who used to make choices that nobody would think of. For example, Ranveer would always be playing Amitabh Bachchan. But when he wasn't there, he said, Ashwin, you're Amitabh. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm Amitabh? He said, nah. He said, today you're Amitabh, right? So I wasn't doing Ashwin playing Amitabh. I was doing Ashwin playing Ranveer, who was playing Amitabh, because I used to watch Ranveer doing Amitabh all the time. But it was great fun to do these parts that nobody else would give you. And Shashant would always allow for that. A Great Indian Comedy Show, really, one of the best things I've ever done. And we had such a fantastic time, because nobody told us, you can't do this. We made fun of everybody. And it's not something you can do now. We made fun of all the actors. We made fun of all the politicians. Doesn't matter what party it was. And nobody said, no. आप ये नहीं कर सकते. Nobody ever said that to us. We were allowed to be free. We used to also not just political gags. We did crazy random gags as well, which to this day, unfortunately, you can't really find those gags online, but some of them were so good. And then through that, the other movies started, little parts, and sometimes those little parts become something that you could never imagine. For example, Lage Ro Munna Bhai. It's just 3 scenes. It's 3 scenes, and it's 3 scenes that I didn't think were that important then. The first movie was huge, of course. So why wouldn't you want to be in the second one? And when I'd auditioned for that, I got a call to audition for that. At that time, just some time before, I'd been diagnosed with something called Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy it's a viral attack on the nerve that moves the facial muscles. Some people, it happens across. So I literally went to bed one night just looking like this. And I woke up the next morning looking like this because my whole left side was paralyzed, the face. So it's a nerve that literally moves the muscles, and it's a viral attack on that. So you've got to teach that muscle to move again. But it can take a short time. It can take months. It can take sometimes a year, 2 years for people as well. So I woke up in the morning like that, and I couldn't even speak. I was speaking like this. I was like, oh my God, my acting career is over. It's probably just one role somebody's going to offer me, which is, he's got to look like this. And I had to train my muscles to move, and I had to train myself to speak again. And that took a few months. I went to physiotherapy where they give you electroshock therapy, and it was coming back. But because the left side is paralyzed, the right side has all the pressure. And that's why it looks like this. And I got called for the audition for Lage Munna Bhai. And actually, I think this was, I spoke about this in a TED talk that I gave as well. Because I almost didn't go for the audition because I mean, really, you'd walk in saying why. As soon as you walk in, you would feel that people would say no. But I went. And when I went in there, casting department, casting director, other people, I just told them that I'd been to the dentist. Just been to the dentist, and they'd give me an injection, and it's not worn off, so I'm like this. Yeah. Can I still audition? They said, yeah, of course you can audition. You'll be fine. No, I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. I did my test. I got the part. I didn't really expect that. Some days later, I got a call. And of course, the shooting was a while later. But if you go back to Lage Raho, when you watch that scene where I'm dropping my father off to the old age home, and you see that scene again, you will see the right side of my mouth like this. Go watch that again. And that was still the Bell's palsy, though people thought that it was just me portraying the main character. So that film is always a reminder to me that sometimes you should, even if you don't want to do something, you should just go and do it. Maybe inside you're thinking everybody is thinking about you, looking at you, is saying something about you. Maybe they're not. Maybe nobody cares because they're so busy thinking about their own lives, and you're internalizing all of that. So at the times when you're doubting yourself, just go ahead and do something. Somebody else is going to believe in you. And that movie, I would say that movie gave me a career, or gave me a recognition. It may not be a recognition by name, but it will always be a recognition by face. Because I still get people shouting at me, hey, Munna Bhai, Hari Desai, Papa theek hai na? Everybody asks me, I used to get so much abuse for that role. How can you treat your father like that? I just played a role. My actual father is absolutely fine. He's totally okay. Nothing, not doing anything to him. He's safe, not to worry. So I take that as a compliment that they actually believed this character, and that he treat his father like that. And some of that is, of course, how Rajkumar Hirani and how he directed it. So Lage Raho was great. And then there was Fashion, which was a national award-winning film. When you look back at it, and an actor goes, what have you done? And you go, well, I'm part of a national award-winning film. I think that's kind of cool. I never really think about that much. But if you sit down, I think it's a pretty cool thing to say, that you're part of a national award-winning movie. And Fashion, I never regret Fashion. It was, again, huge cast. hit film. That's a film that put Priyanka Chopra onto her path of success. She was always going to be successful, but of course that, I think, into the path of superstardom. But at that time, most actors would turn their nose down or say no to a gay part. So it was offered to me. All I thought was 25 days of Priyanka Chopra. How cool is that? I'll take it. And I did it. That was good fun. But for a while, it also damaged my career in the industry, because the assumption was that that's the way I was, or that's who I was, and I was actually gay. Now, whether I was or not should not matter to anybody. That would be a personal choice. That would be a personal preference. But the industry, I believe, was punishing me for doing that, because that's all that was being offered to me. The amount of roles, the amount of gay roles I said no to, because they were written terribly. And I did this part well. I didn't play the part as a gay character. I played the part as someone who just happened to be that. That's all. That's all. He was just a friend to Meghna. That's all I looked at. And how he was how he was. And I had to say no, because they were literally written so badly. And I think the only other part that I did was, which you could say was a gay part, was in Life in a Metro, where the character looks straight. He looks completely straight. Then, of course, you find something else about him, where I play Konkona Sen's boss. So that's just, and people used to come say, oh, you always play gay parts. I'm like, they still come and say that all these years later. I'm like, okay, I've done 40, 45 movies. So which are the gay parts? And they're like, fashion. I'm like, okay, anything else? I mean, nobody says, you're a doctor, because I played a doctor. Your boss. Nobody says that. But this, they say. So I think the best thing to happen to the industry was actually Section 377 to be removed, because after that, there was no stigma attached to anybody. And that opened the floodgates for so many other people to do parts, to play it without any judgment. And I think that is fantastic. I did not have that in 2008, but I'm so glad that the removal of 377 allowed for more of these parts to be played, to be expressed, and people to say, yeah, I can do this without any fear of judgment, without any criticism, and just feeling, okay, this is a great part, I can do it. Bunch of different movies. I've always looked at, I would say that, I know there's that phrase, there are no small roles, only small actors. To me, what matters is it one scene? Is it two scenes? Do these scenes make a difference to the movie? Do they move the narrative forward? Does this scene shift something in this film? If it does, I will always do it, because then the scene will be remembered. The actor will be remembered, the scene will be remembered. And if the scene will be remembered, I think that's what's important. If it does nothing for the story, then you can take any actor. It doesn't matter. So whether I do 1, 2, 3, 4, that scene has to do something for the film. That's the way I look at it. And as a character actor, you'll get offered smaller parts, you'll get offered bigger parts. I think there's a stage where you got to say, yes, I just got to do everything. Maybe now I can say, I can decide, I can choose, I want to do it, I don't want to do it. But at the time, sure, I'll do it all. But I always want to know whether it does something for the movie. So I've done that. I've done daily soaps as well. I've done Balaji shows. Ekta Kapoor, I've done Itna Karo Na Mujhe Pyar on Sony. Great fun. There's Ronit Roy, Ashwin Mushran. There was Cheshwar Merchant. She was my wife in it. And I had so much fun doing that. It's really interesting with doing daily soaps. And I never like to bring in a divide between TV actors and film actors. People will say model, film, TV. Acting is acting. And the pressure you get on a TV series, on a daily soap is crazy. The kind of work that they have to do. That's also an education. That's also learning. And I think every actor, if they can, they should do a daily soap. Maybe it's the verticals now that are doing all of that. I did Itna Karo Na Mujhe Pyar. Great fun. People still, even on the street, they say Karan. Because especially for a TV show, you remember, it's like Monday to Friday. People are seeing you as that character. And that's what they call you as. So I've done the daily soaps as well. I've done some interesting shows that have not also been seen, and some interesting movies that also not been released. There's Maharaj Ki Jai Ho, which is on Hotstar. It was a Star Plus show. It's about two people who time travel to Mahabharat times. And it was such fun. That had Hitesh Pandey, Rajesh Kumar. It had Satyajit Dubey. A great bunch of actors. Akash Dhabde. And we had so much fun doing that. Again, a good year of shooting. I'm really sorry not everybody's able to see it. But it's on Hotstar, so people can see it. Great comedy. Worth giving your time to. It's a 50-episode show. So it's a finite series. Then I've done something called Dhadkan Zindagi Ki, which was on Sony, and it was on Sony Live. It's a hospital drama done very, very well. Again, I play the horrible hospital CEO. I'm starting to play a lot of horrible roles now, which is okay. I'm not that person, but I enjoy playing it. He's this misogynist. He has this thing for the lead of the show, who's a doctor, and he's constantly got something against her. Again, finite series, worth watching. And one of my favorite parts I've also played is Farzad Soonawala and Rana Naidu. Great fun playing that part. Great fun. In fact, I'd been sent the script for the audition, and it said recorded from home. I read it. I called, I think it was casting day. I called them. I said, guys, I want to come in and I want to test. So you test me and I need you doing it with me. So I went there. And while I was going there, I was passing by the shop and I saw this horrendous shirt in the shop. Horrendous. I went in, I think it was 800, 1,000 rupees. I bought it. And I wore that for the audition. And sometimes I think I didn't get the audition because of what I did. I got it because of the shirt I was wearing. This stays there in my cupboard right now. So that's my story. Till things were generally going well until COVID happened, and then everything shut down. From acting to voice, it all shut down. And from that, I built my home studio where I did a lot of voice work. I still do all my voice work for my own home studio, but I also built my communications business, which I call $1 Million Presence. And I teach professionals, I teach entrepreneurs, I teach corporates, companies, how to speak and move better, voice and body language. So that's what I do now. So that is pretty much my story right now.
That's quite an interesting story. Moving on, how did training in London change your understanding of acting?
Look, at that time, not many people from India went to drama school in the UK. Like I said, many people now go for training, many people go abroad for training, and that's great. I don't think drama school necessarily makes you a better actor, but I'll tell you what it does. What it does is drama school gives you discipline and focus. And to treat this as a profession, to respect it as a profession, and to respect the craft. So it allows you to think about acting, not just from acting, but also how you show up, how you turn up. how to be a professional actor. So that's what drama school does. And I had mentioned this earlier, that a lot of what you learn actually comes from you doing. So you will learn things as you go along. But the discipline and that focus definitely came from the drama studio London. And I will always be grateful for that.
Is there one lesson you still use on every set?
One lesson I use on every set. Is that a lesson from somebody else, or is it something that I taught myself?
Both.
Both. Show up on time. A lot of people don't. Respect other people's time as well. You have a call time, turn up at that time. And I would say the most important thing, and probably the most boring thing for an actor, is learn your lines. You learn your lines, you are ready for the day. That's why TV acting can be really tough, actually. Because TV acting, you turn up and they say, sir, 6 page. Doesn't mean you shoot the way. Like, excuse me, how am I going to learn this here? So people are just constantly learning the lines and they're concentrating on those lines rather than the acting. What's great about film acting is that you get usually, I mean, some of the OTT shows and the other shows, you get your lines a long time before. So you're able to familiarize yourself, you're able to learn them and come ready. And I think that really, really helps you as an actor. Just come on time, learn the lines and be nice to people. And I mean nice, be respectful, be polite to everybody. There are many actors who throw that roads, they show attitude. I do not like that at all. You can be assertive, you can stand up for your rights, but I believe you can still be polite and respectful while you do that. And I think every actor should do that so they stay grounded.
That's a great advice. Did you ever think of quitting?
Every day. It's a brutal industry. I don't know. Maybe I should say I would have been a director. Maybe I should say I would have gone as an assistant director, go to production. I think sometimes that's so much easier because you have a career of you acting. It is hard. It is hard for people because of the rejection that you face. Now, all these years later, I can laugh at the rejection. If somebody says no to something, I go, okay, that's fine. Because I have come to understand that there are things that are out of your control. And who casts you, why you're in something is not because of your talent. It's not necessarily because of your looks. It's things that are out. It's out of your control. But when that happens day in, day out, when you stand in lines, constantly trying to get a meeting, trying to get an audition. Now, of course, it happens from home. It is going to get you. And I see that with a lot of the younger actors online they are documenting their journey, they're vlogging, they're documenting their journey as actors. And I can see that frustration. I can see that bitterness creeping. And I can understand why it's there. I can understand where it's coming from. But I do believe don't take everything personally. There are a couple of times you will take something personally, and that's all right. Most of the time, don't take it personally because sometimes it's got nothing to do with you. And yes, I have thought about that many times as well. Because as an actor, you go through months without work. Essentially, you're a daily wage earner. And when that project finishes, you are unemployed and again looking for
the next project. But I have also built other paths. So I've built other routes or tandem industry for myself. One is the voice. And now I have my own studio at home. People call me. I'm able to send them a voiceover for an ad for a corporate film. I'm able to do that where I travel no matter where I am because I have the understanding. I did a course on audio engineering as well, which allows me to do all of that and send it to people as well. So I've learned that for myself. So I don't just have to depend on this. And then I have the communication business as well, where I do trainings for companies. I do one-on-one coaching with professionals. So I'm constantly always doing something with that. So I don't have to worry that I don't have that part. And all these years later, when people think, oh, you still have to audition. Yes, I do. I choose when I want to audition. Sometimes someone saying, I don't want to audition for this. Do you want me or do you not want me? But I think over 20 years in the industry, it's going to be 23 years now. I think I have the right to say that. My work is also out there. You can also, if you want me to play a boss, you really need me to audition for it because I've played enough of them. Then either you want me or you don't want me. Sometimes I go, no, I will test for this. But in the back of my mind, yes, that idea, do I quit? I think everybody thinks that because it is a heartache mystery. So I feel for everybody out there. But the great thing about the world we live in now, people are able to create their own presence. They're able to create their own content, which we never really had a chance to do before social media. So they're able to do that now. And I think that's fantastic. And that is taking control. So whenever you feel the need to quit, know that you can also do that. So I say, don't quit. Just don't think I got to quit. Just say, I got to put it aside. And something else will come. But in the meantime, I have the power or I have the ability to do something for myself, which I've had to teach myself as well. The whole social media game, I don't necessarily love it. I sometimes hate it, but you have to do it. But it is easy to put yourself out there. And by doing that, you can stay relevant. And you don't have to quit. So put it aside. Don't quit. Put it aside. And give something else a shot.
Can a character actor become a star in India?
I think the simple answer to that is yes. Maybe it wasn't the case a while ago, a long time ago, but I think there are enough people out there who are character actors who are stars. And if you even look at the film, even if you look at Nawazuddin, you look at a Pankaj Tripathi, you look at an Irfan, look at Baman Arani, aren't they character actors? They're character actors. And they're stars. And then you have OTT. Who's the actor in Panchayat? Jitendra. Essentially, he would have been a character actor somewhere else. He's a star now. So many of these people now have been given leverage because of, I think, just the sheer range of avenues in front of them. So yes, a character actor can become a star. And I think it's because of the streaming services that character actors have become stars. I absolutely love it when I see someone who turns a character actor, and I prefer supporting actor. I just prefer actor as well, rather than that term character actor. But if you look at Dhurandhar and you look at Gaurav Gera, now Gaurav Gera, of course, is already a name. But Dhurandhar has just exploded him. And Rakesh Bedi, and people are saying, oh, where were they? They were always there. And I think it's fantastic that they're getting a recognition that they absolutely deserve. It may be coming much later than it should have, but they're getting it. And I am all for it. So yes, the answer to that, a character actor, especially in this day and age, in 2026, in the year we're living in now, a character actor can and should be a star.
Are stars and supporting actors treated differently on set?
I like the way you say that, differently. And I would say, yes, they are. That's always the nature of it. They always will be. Look, you can't take that personally, but you can stand up for yourself and treat yourself like a star when you walk in.
Definitely.
Like somebody bumbled it on me, and I just shot with him for a corporate film. He walks in, there's this energy that you just cannot deny. He's a star. Ronit Roy, who came from TV star. But when Ronit is on a film set, he is Ronit Roy. I love it. I love that about Ronit. Ronit's in the room. I absolutely love that. Though, of course, Ronit is a star, but supporting actors, I think you've just got to take charge and just say, I belong here. And if you believe that you belong here, everybody will treat you like that. If you act like you don't belong somewhere, they will treat you differently. So just stand up for your rights, ask for what's owed, and believe that you're in the room, you're on a set, you're in a project, because you deserve to be. And inside you're a star. I'm my own star.
Does Bollywood still run on hierarchy?
Okay, so when you say hierarchy, what do you mean by that?
Probably someone from the industry, families, or newcomers. Basically,
Are you talking about nepotism?
nepotism. Yeah, you could say that also.
I don't think as much as it used to be, because again, there are lots of corporates now who are studios,
Right.
and they brought in different things. It's not just the old guard. It's not just the old studios. Yes, there is a certain hierarchy there. I don't think it's as relevant or as prominent as it used to be. And when people say, if you use the word nepotism, personally, I don't have a huge problem with that, because that nepotism gives a bunch of other people work. Doesn't matter whether you're in a Star Kids film, you're still working, right? Of course, that if I think what bothers people is if that Star Kid is terrible and they get 10 projects. But if they work hard, they get better with every project as well. I think that's fantastic. That's every other actor as well. And in fact, some of them, this is the world they've grown up in. They actually do know it. So my only problem with nepotism is people who are undeserving constantly get a project. But on the flip side, those projects gives everybody else work. So I have to balance that equation.
Moving on, has OTT created better opportunities or just more work?
Probably a different answer from me. I've not done that much OTT work actually. There was a time when I'm like, the OTT is coming, I'm going to be swamped. I never was. I don't know why that is. I've done some interesting projects. Even Rana Naidu, which people came up to me and said, my God, you were fantastic. We've never seen you like that. Never got anything after that. So I don't know. For some people, yes. I think you also see the same regular people in all the projects. You do. And you also, what is happening now as well, the film actors don't have enough films. So they're coming to OTT. And the whole cycle is repeating where they say, sir, budget nahi hai. मैं स्टार कौन है सिर्फ स्टार ये है हमने इसलिए बजट नहीं है राइट you just given that actor 25 crores, तो आपके पास पैसा नहीं होगा अभी. No wonder you're saying that. So this I hate that word budget नहीं है. It's the most disrespectful thing to actors. तो मत बोला. Don't call me. Budget नहीं है तो किसी और को बोला. Don't call me. Maybe that's why they. Oh, so, but thank you. You just made me reassess my life with that question. So the film actors are coming to OTT, and now that entire segment of Bollywood, which you thought was put aside, is now swamping OTT as well, which is them leaving no money for anybody else.
Why do so many theatre actors struggle in films?
Don't a lot of theatre actors in films or OTT? Why are you saying? Why are you saying theatre? Just theatre. Why are you saying theatre actors struggling in films? Aren't there a lot of theatre actors in films now?
Because I think that's the point. I think there are a lot of theatre actors. So, do you think it's competitive, or is it connections? Is it talent? What do you think?
No, I'm glad. I'm glad that more theatre actors are being brought into the fold with Never a Chance. And again, I think the whole streaming space has allowed for all these actors to be seen. Whether it's at FTR, whether it's NSD, the other schools now. I think that's fantastic. Maybe there's a struggle between them. There's no competition between me because I don't get calls from the parts, so that doesn't matter. But I'm happy to see them in so many more things. So I don't think there's a struggle. But yes, having said that, there will be competition because of it. There will be competition, but I'm glad. What I don't like is if you say, हम theatre actor को बुला रहे हैं because you feel that you won't pay them. And theatre actors would say, thank you, हम theatre से हैं, हमको कुछ भी करेंगे क्योंकि art है. No, I'm theatre as well. I'm theatre trained. I love stage. I absolutely love the stage. I love all kinds of acting, but I just don't think there should be that label on them. कि we are only calling them because they're okay with being paid less. And I think they should be able to demand more or as much as anybody because they actually have a foundation.
Definitely. Is talent enough to survive in Bollywood?
The short answer is no. That's it. No, it's not. It's not. There's just too much. There are too many other external factors. Talent is most of the times people say that usme talent nahi hai, but of course there's stars. Talent is not enough in the entire entertainment industry. Unfortunately. Talent sometimes there'll be the breakout role, the breakout part, but then there'll be the thousands of others equally talented who never did. It's not talent. You know Judi Dench's Dame Judi Dench, British actress, fantastic. I've seen her live on stage. And I saw this clip. She said something really interesting. She said, your success as an actor doesn't depend on talent. And you may be the most talented actor or actress, as you like to use that word. That's just me. Because I'm sexist or anything like that. I just like actor. I just like actress and the beautiful terms. But if you want me to say actors, I will. Your success as an actor, at the end of the day, pretty much has to do with luck. It's about, she said, it's about timing. You just happened to be somewhere, that place, that time, met that person. And that's when you got something. And that thing became successful. Not because you were the best actor. It's unfortunately, and when people say you want to quit, I'm just saying it's just a matter of luck. And sometimes you stay on, stay on, stay on. And one day that luck hits you as well. So not talent, luck. But in India, maybe it's got to do with how you play the game in the industry, how servile you are with people, how you've got to show people their seniority, their respect to move ahead. I can't do that. I can't. I will respect you for your age. I will respect you for who you are. I will respect you for your years in the industry. I respect you for your work. But I will never be servile to you. And I think a lot of Bollywood, a lot of the Indian entertainment industry expects people to be like that with them. And that is how you can get work as well. And good for you. I can't.
What makes Rajkumar Hirani different as a director?
Raju's, he's such an interesting director, one of India's biggest directors. And the one thing I love about him is how down to earth he is. I remember even Lagero, how he would come and say, hey, Ashwin, you go through the lines. Are you okay with them? Is there something you'd like to add? And I think that's how he comes to an actor. He makes an actor feel important. And important to the scene. And he's very specific. Even if he's got somebody for 4 lines, he wants that person. He's very, very specific. And a long while later, so here's something people don't know about me. I was in talks for 3 Idiots for a very long time. And I've been given 2 narrations. I thought this would be I arrived. Yeah, if I get this. And I did. But I got 2. The character changed. It no longer fit me. It's just how it is. And that was the character of Chandra, which went to Omi there. In fact, Raju had shown me Omi's test as well. And I had said, Raju, is that what you're looking at? That's not me. But I never held anything against him for that. Stayed in touch. Again, not in your control. And I remember being called for Sanju. And it was that one scene, we had 2 scenes where he's at that conference and then I have to move him out. And he said, no, Ashwin, he said, I want you. That's it. You're the right person. It's only 1, 2 scenes. You're the right person. In fact, I was the head of security that event. He even had a badge out here. And if it ever zoomed in, it says Ashwin. In that he even gave me the setup. He's so specific when he wants someone. So I could have said, oh my God, I didn't get that movie. I never going to talk to him again. That's okay. Stuff like that happens. And then I got called to do the Aqua Insurance ad because Raju was directing with Sanjita Rashan. And we had such a nice time out there shooting together. All these years later, we had so much fun. And he said, Ashwin, no, he said, you're not the same character as Lagiro, but I just want you here with them because it's a recollection. And he also had Khurshid Lawyer in the other ad, who's that, excuse me, what is procedure? Change the room, please. No? And he had him in the other one. And that line was also said. And I got to say, you want to fight? And he said, let's say line from that. It's so nice to work with him because he makes an actor feel special. And I think he puts thoughts into actors' heads. He's putting that, but he eventually makes the actor think that I thought about it. It's a really good way to be. And he's so easy to work with. Maybe it comes from the fact that he's an editor. I think the craft he learned is editing, and I always like working with directors who are editors because they do not waste time. They don't say, यहाँ से ऐसा shot, तो यहाँ से तो top shot लगाएंगे, यहाँ से, and it's like, sir, हम ये scene 4 दिन से shoot कर रहे हैं, yeah. The ones who are editors, who become directors, know exactly what they're shooting. They're like, cut, we know. But I love that. Rather than people say, art bana hai. Art? This is just have my shoulder in the shot. Yeah. So Raju, he's lovely. He's a lovely person. He has a great team behind him. And I absolutely love working with him. I've not worked with him that many times, but courtesy him, I also have recognition.
Having worked with Sanjay Dutt, Arshad Warsi, and Akshay Kumar, what separates great actor from the rest?
So, Sanjay Dutt, he's a sweet guy. I don't see any attitude from him. He'll give you a hug. He'll say hi. I love that. Arshad Warsi is just energy. I think Arshad he can be a force on the set as well. Laughter, fun, plus doing his stuff as well and getting along with everybody and working with other actors. He's great. And Akshay Kumar, believe it or not, people like, I don't know what people think. Politically, they may think something different. I get that. I worked with him as projects. I worked him 3 or 4 times. He is a great professional. He is a professional. On set on time, does the work, bed early, gets up early, does his stuff. Yeah, superstar, of course. But I actually think he is one of the most professional actors around. You can have a different viewpoint politically as far as the work goes. He's incredibly disciplined, incredibly focused.
According to you, which actor surprised you the most on set?
Someone will talk about acting here, but it's Shah Rukh that has surprised me. Because when you look at these people, these actors are superstars. Shah Rukh is a world superstar. And I worked with him a couple of times. It's how he is on set with people. Now you probably think I'm going to talk about how an actor surprised me. And personally, I don't like an actor to surprise me. I like to know what's going on, rehearsed. Don't surprise me. Okay? Yeah. Let's do the scene that's there. Surprise Bhakto. So I'm not going to talk about the acting. But Shah Rukh is just so incredible people. It's the way he says hello to everybody. It's the way he says goodbye to everybody. He makes an effort to do that. So most person in the set will go Shah Rukh said bye to. Not to us. He said bye to. I think he's an incredibly elegant man. I think he's classy. He has etiquette. He is a superstar. And you can see that. But he is also great with everyone else. And I believe that's how you should be. Because then that comes from the top. If this person is acting like this. It's like this with everyone. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. So I look at him, really look at him as him to learn how to be in spite of who you are, that you still treat people decently.
Are stars under more pressure today than ever before?
Are you talking the old school Bollywood? Yes.
Yeah, the old school.
Yeah, I believe they are. I believe they are because of all the other avenues that have opened up. And people are not necessarily watching them anymore. Earlier, I think any junk and we'd go and see. Now, because we are able to watch so much from around the world, we don't give them the time that we used to anymore. I believe they are under pressure. Unfortunately, I think a lot of them still don't learn. Trying to do something different. So they are under the pressure. Whether they're going to do something about it, we'll have to see. But they're under pressure from all the other streaming services, from all the other avenues out there, and from all the other content. They're under pressure from people on Instagram as well. Yeah. You're under pressure from a Bhuvan Bam. You're under pressure from a Samay Rehna. You're under pressure from all these guys who are legit superstars now.
That actually brings me to the next question.
Oh, okay. Does it? Yeah.
Do followers matter more than talent today?
Oh man, I said that at the right time. Did I? I didn't know that next one was coming there. Yeah. Do followers? Unfortunately, I'm going to say not because they matter, but they matter to the people who decide they matter. And let me explain why I said that. Because you literally do have people, when a casting director calls you, messages, says, send your Instagram profile. Why? I'm not bloody search for it yourself. Do your own damn homework. Google it. It's there. You can find me. A lazy ass message, send your Instagram profile. Use all that time you spent typing, you could just put in my name and Instagram would come up straight away. It matters. There are a whole bunch of corporates now, and they just see 3 million followers. Cast karo. What they don't realize is actors like us are recognized everywhere before they. I think the industry doesn't treat character or supporting actors with the respect they deserve. But the public do. And the industry will never see that. They'll never see you being stopped at war. They'll never see you being stopped at the airport. They'll never see you coming and talking to you. And it is so lovely when people do say, we're watching for all these years. We absolutely love you. It is so lovely. Industry does not see that. Those corporates don't see that. The casting directors don't see that. And if you're casting only for followers, don't message me. Just say, we're just casting you. Don't do that. So followers, unfortunately, do matter. I don't like it. I think that's terrible. You're never ever going to get the best people like that. After all these years in the industry, I'm still remembered. I'm still recognized. That was before time there was followers. You have to have a social media presence. Don't get me wrong. I think you do. But I think there is a divide between actors and casting directors, right? While you should be working together, it's okay not to be cast. But I think many actors hate casting directors right now. Not because they're not getting the role. They just hate the way they are approached. They hate the way they're tested. And they hate what they have to say to them. And I think I could probably bring a lot of communication lessons with the whole casting body, explain to them how to deal with people, how to communicate with actors effectively to keep a professional relationship going. And what happens is you say no. Why can't you say no to a part? It's like they get insulted by it. You say no to us. Can't we also say no to something? Why should you get insulted by that? And what they do is, if you are sharp with them, or I get calls, sir, introduction भेजिए. I'm like, why not? I'm not. I'll go and audition. मैं audition करूंगा. Introduction तो मैं नहीं भेजूंगा. You don't need, hi, I'm Ashwin Mushran, these are my profiles. Super profile, keep that. I'll do it again. Okay, some part. You don't need that from me. I've done that. I've done that hundreds of times. Oh yeah. You don't need an introduction. मैं audition करूंगा. I'll send that to you. नहीं. So introduction हमारा policy है. ऐसा तो मेरा policy नहीं है. They get upset about that, and I think there has to come a time where actors and casting directors just have to stop working. Most of the work I've got in the last few years has actually been not through casting. Couple here and there, but most of the work I've got, people have just fallen young. And don't get me wrong, I will test. I have nothing against that. I will decide whether I will test depending on whether, I mean, this I can do, but you will test me, but I will test and I will send. And most of the time I'm doing it, I'm sending it out of courtesy. Just out of respect and courtesy, I'm sending it. But most of the work I've got is because people just phone me up. But like I said, don't get me wrong, I will audition, but nothing against that. Just you won't get an introduction.
In today's date, are auditions really fair?
No. Follow account. Any other? No, they're not. So here's the thing. In-person auditions were really interesting as well. But now everything is through self-tape. And it's now they want you to be the full director, producer. So they say lighting aise hona chahiye. It needs to be from this angle. I'm like, I'm not directing this. You just want me to do the lines, we'll send it. They want you to make sure it is on there. Make sure no background noise. Make sure at the end of the day, you will see somebody even with a terrible background noise. But if he's great, you will still cast him. So it's got nothing to do with that. The in-person, personal aspect has been taken out of the self-tape. Self-tapes also mean that you can send it from anywhere. That you're traveling, you're not in Bombay, you're not somewhere else. At least you can send it. But are they fair? No. Because sometimes I've tested and eventually I know the person got it, never tested. I know. I can see that. So all they did was collecting all the other actors to show the client, देखो इतने सारे actors इकट्ठा कर लिया आपके लिए सर नहीं क्योंकि आप हमको पैसा दे रहे हैं. So of course we put it together so we can present that we're getting all these big for you.
Are films becoming safer and less creative?
Yes. That is the answer. Yes, I think we're living in an India where people are just so afraid of offense that they're not willing to experiment, or they're not able to experiment. They're not able to push boundaries because everybody is afraid of an FIR coming down on them. Everybody's afraid of a troll army on Instagram, on somewhere else coming at you. They're just afraid. And when you live with that fear, you will never be able to create something that you want to create. If you're always living with a constant fear that somebody is going to come after you, and you will play completely safe, then it's going to be formula, completely safe. Unfortunately, well, that's what I'll be over.
Which are some of the biggest films and shows you've lent your voice to?
Thank you. That's a good question. The biggest, of course, will be Money Heist. I am the voice of the professor in Money Heist. It's 48 episodes. It's a cult following, one of the best dubbing projects I've ever done. I absolutely love it. It's like I know that character inside out because I spent so much time with the professors. The professor is probably the biggest. I've done Stanley Tucci, Transformers. I've done Adam Sandler. One of my favorite ones is actually, I think, Night at the Museum, where I played Napoleon. And I said, can we do it in a French accent? They said, French? Hindi? I said, yeah, it's Napoleon. Let's give it a shot there. So I said, Shota. किसने मुझे छोटा कहा? I'm like, rather said chota, किसने मुझे छोटा कहा? I'm like, just put it in. So got to do things like that. Adam Sandler and Zohan, that is a character I love. You watch the Hindi dub of Zohan, it's mental. I absolutely love that. Then, which are the other ones? Of course, in Wheel of Time, and the actor Alvaro Morte, I voiced him for a couple of things. I have done Michael Fassbender for X-Men, for Aliens, for Assassin's Creed. I've voiced him for all of that. So there are a bunch of projects out there which I've done. In Matilda, I've done the father, great role again in Hindi. Good fun. I've done Saif Ali Khan in Sacred Games, where I'm the English. That was the first English, the Hindi to English dub I think Netflix has done. And yeah, people say, hey, if you do it like that, I go, no, man, because if I did it like that, people would freak out. I couldn't just do that. I had to do it myself, yeah. But you want me to do like this for all the episodes because we just sound wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to build a career as a voice over artist?
Being a voiceover artist today, 2026, is actually, it's not a very easy thing because of AI, and people are using AI voices to generate their own content. It's not the same as it was when I joined in, but if you really, really want to do it, you are able to do it from home now. You're able to learn how to set up your own space. Enough platforms out there where you can build your profile, you can join up, you can sign up, and you can start doing work from there. But I would say, to be a voice artist in this day and age, you also have to learn to be an audio engineer. So learn audio engineering as well, because then you'll be able to deliver fully finished work to people. It's not just about the voice. It's about how you can process it as well. So you need to do both things. Learn how to do the voicing and also learn how to do that engineering. Basic. I'm not talking about fantastic studio engineering. Nobody actually needs that for the people who are asking you for that kind of work. But you're able to set up that space from home. There are fantastic, affordable mics now, which was never available to so many of us years ago when we were starting out. And you are able to buy them, set them up in no time, and build your own little space at home and do that. If you want to go into dubbing, that's a different matter. Then you will still have to go to the studios. You will have to go to Subhash Studios. You'll have to go to Sound and Vision. You will have to go to Mayuki. You will have to go to all of these studios because you cannot really do the dubbing work from home. That cannot happen. So if you want to be a dubbing artist, then you have to approach the studios, go meet them, go say, I'd like to test out, and they will probably call you to do a test. Start doing crowd work for them. You can learn from there. So if you want to go into ad voicing, corporate voicing, you can build it from home. You don't need to go to the studios anymore for that, which I think is fantastic. You have that control. If you want to go into the dubbing industry, you have to go to the studios that do all the dubbing.
What's your advice for anyone who wants to become a better speaker?
So they say that people make judgments about you within the first 7 seconds of meeting you, seeing you. Now, I don't know how that true it is, but definitely within the first 30 seconds to 1 minute, people make judgments about that. 7 seconds is a great way to show people, oh my God, your presence makes a difference, or people start deciding who you are within that period of time. But what happens is they may have decided who you are, whether they like you, they don't like you. And that is always going to be an assumption. They're assuming something about you. But when you speak, that assumption will always turn into belief. So how you speak does matter. So what is it that you can do to be a better speaker? Now, I'm not saying that you have to speak in a way that an actor speaks, a voice artist speaks. No, just learn to speak in a way that suits you. You have to be articulate. You have to be clear. Open your mouth. Make sure that you say all those words so people understand them clearly. Speak with a certain volume that people always hear you. Most people are actually speaking 20 to 30% softer than they think. So raise your volume when you speak to people. It's okay to speak at a higher volume. It's not shouting, because you're actually speaking a lot softer than you think. Speak louder. Finish your sentences. I always like to say one thought, one breath. Finish your thought with that breath, and then take the next breath for your next thought. And learn to use your pauses effectively. Silence is also a part of speaking. And if you learn to use that, you'll be able to speak much better, because you allow yourself processing time. You allow the other person processing time. And you give yourself enough time for your message to get across. So mostly it's clarity. And I always believe that learn to speak to one person, no matter how many people you're speaking to. Because whether you're addressing a crowd, there's always one person listening to you. And you're always going to be talking to one person. You may be standing on stage and there may be 800 people out there, but the one person is listening to you. So think of it always as one person. Yes, you're addressing everybody, but remember, the one person is watching you, listening to you as if you are talking to them. So start treating it as a one person, especially nowadays for social media, for Instagram. It's personal. And always, you're going to have 16 people around somebody's phone saying, ha ha ha. What? It's one person watching the other person. So learn to be more personal with that. And I think you'll be able to speak with much more confidence.
What's the biggest myth about Bollywood?
That everybody's successful? No. Yeah. So 1% that's successful. Everybody else is just working their ass off just to have a career. And I think the glamour, there's literally nothing glamorous about the work that you do. It's tiring. It's boring. You call people, or they say, we want to come on set. Humko dekhna hai, we have to see. And then after a while they say, thank you very much, hum ja rahe. Because they're like, kya ho raha hai? Kuch nahi ho raha hai yahan pe. Exactly. That's an actor's life. That's an actor's life, where nothing really happens until it does happen. So I think the glamour of it is the myth. It's regular work.
What's one truth about the industry nobody talks about?
One truth about the industry that nobody talks about, I think money, payments. budgets. Doesn't come to most actors. Never does. And that's why they struggle. That thousands of crores that you see Bollywood make is not distributed to everybody. And that's sad. Once you're in something, you're never going to get anything else out of it after that. You're done. But that's okay. I think it's the payments and how they try to keep on knocking down the budgets all the time, knocking down your pay, and also the length of time it sometimes takes to get paid. That is the truth. I think that is why most actors struggle, because they just don't know when they're getting paid. And I really hope that will change for everybody.
If you could change one thing about Bollywood, what would it be?
I don't think Bollywood is that important anymore, so I don't want to change it. As in, the Bollywood that we knew is not as important as it is. The dynamics have changed. I don't think I need to change anything about them. I think they need to change themselves. They need to see what is going on from content, from actors, from stories that are being made elsewhere, and start doing that. But if I have to say, is there one thing? I think take risk. Bollywood is not taking a risk anymore. The industry is not taking a risk to make content, to make stories that stay with people anymore. I don't think so. I think it's just formula. They're just making it because they have to do something. It's rare now. So the one thing that they need to change is they need to take risks to make better stories.
What's the best advice you have ever received?
I think the best advice I've ever received, you're talking about an actor,
Yeah.
as an actor. I think the best advice I've ever received is just come on time and do your work. That's it. Just be a professional is the best advice. No matter what anybody else does, you stay professional is the best advice I've ever got. Or it's my learnings from other actors, other people who have passed that on to me. And I like to pass that on to other people. Just do your job. So look at it this way. The film may not be the best film. You know that. Or the show may not be the best show. You know that. You're doing it because you have work. And that's okay. You've been given a job, you're doing it. But you give your 100% commitment. Even if you know that this is not the best project. Yeah, or you know that this is not the strongest story. You signed up for it. You give 100% commitment. I have learned that from other people, and I do stick with that. Once you signed up for something, you do it. And you give it your best. And I think whether the movie or the show will be good or not be good, I think your commitment will show. And that is your professionalism.
If you could tell your younger self one line before he entered the industry, what would it be?
Take charge. Own your space. Know that you deserve to be there. And don't question yourself. You're there for a reason. Believe it.
Could you tell us about your upcoming projects?
I have just shot for a film called Gadhe. And everybody's laughing. No, it's not about me. Yeah. It's not a biopic. Yeah. I'm sure it'd be nice if it was. So it's an independent project. It's called Gadhe. I just finished shooting for it. Written by a young man who's also acting in it. I really enjoyed seeing these young people. They're writing their own stuff and doing it. I absolutely love that people are doing that themselves. So that's called Gadhe. I can't really talk about it now. Everybody signs NDAs. There was a time that you could talk about what you're doing. Now you're not allowed to talk about what you're doing. So that's Gadhe. I've also shot for a Telugu film, which is called Passion. That's not fashion with the speech impediment. Yeah, it's just called Passion. Yeah, not mispronounced. It's called Passion. The funny enough, it's set in a fashion university, and I play the horrible head of a department. I told you, I'm playing horrible people. Absolutely love it. I play the horrible head of a department in that, my first Telugu project. So that is out. And there are a couple of other projects that have not been released and waiting for that. Again, independent films. So waiting for that to come out. And recently, of course, I was in Happy Patel, Khatarnak Jasoos, which is Veer Das's film, and lovely little part I played. I thoroughly enjoyed playing the MI6 trainer for Veer, to train him to be an agent back in India. So that's happening right now. And I had a couple of ad shoots, corporate shoots, and I always, like an actor, in talks for things people have phoned and you're still waiting.
Lastly, what's your confession?
My confession, I think, is if I wasn't an actor, I think I would have been a teacher. It's not really a confession, but it's something that people don't know. And it's why I enjoy what I'm doing right now with the training that I do. Kind of giving back what I've learned from all the years in the industry, giving it back to people in other parts of life. Teaching them the things that an actor knows, that they can use in their professional lives with their voice and body language. So yeah, I think secretly inside, maybe I always wanted to be a professor, but then I was the professor. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's all good. Life's okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for coming and sharing your story with us. It was a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much, guys.